Hello, my name is Tim, and today we're going to be talking about children and women. Today we're going to be specifically looking at a specific article with regards to children in war, and that urgent action is needed to save a generation. Okay, so let us first say that children are affected disproportionately by widespread violence and often bear much more severe and long-term consequences than adults due to their vulnerability. Like, for example, 1 billion children under the age of 18 lives in countries affected by armed conflict. And with armed conflict, I mean that there's two countries at war against one another, and they're fighting, and then there's potential military action that goes against between those countries. For example, in Syria. And what happens in these armed conflicts is that military action, such as bombs and other threats, have significant impacts on the population of the people. Some estimates suggest that over 1/3 of current maternal and child death occur in countries that are indirectly and directly affected by conflict and or that have a sizable refugee population. For example, at the end of World War I, the UN High Commission of Refugees estimated there were 1.5 million refugees and displaced persons globally. In 2004, the UNHCR estimated 37.5 million global refugees or displaced persons. By the end of 2014, the estimate UNHCR had was around 59.9 million people. Data from 1990 to 2013 indicates that expectancy for children and women in Syria would be 5 years higher and 6 years higher for men, had it not been for the conflict. Children comprised of 15% of all deaths from suicide bombings in Iraq from 2003 to 2010. Also, children that have witnessed widespread violence or are displaced by it are at very high risk of a disabling mental or emotional consequence. Risks to vulnerable children have also been complicated by the widespread use of children as child soldiers, suicide bombers as a form of coercion, and the cowardly use as human shields. Authors call for the UN Convention on the Rights of the Children, which all countries of the world have signed, must be fully implemented in letter and in spirit. The scores of children being killed and maimed every day cannot wait for the politics of Brexit and US elections to settle the European Union to figure out response to the millions of refugees in the midst. So as you can see with that article that we just briefly went over, it is important that women and children get the necessary support that they require. And this is an issue of contention because these people are helpless, and there isn't anyone to support them but the regulatory bodies such as the UNHCR. And in talking about contention, the claim that they are making is that both children and women are vulnerable. So that relates to the contention aspect of what we are discussing. Furthermore, the aiding of refugees such as Syria has impacted countries such as Canada, whom have previously taken these people from these war-torn countries to our country to help them, or to recuperate or to rehabilitate them into our society. So as you can see, women and children are a major issue in political contention. And for example, Syrian refugees was a major subject matter in the electoral platforms of the liberals and the conservatives in the past. Okay, thank you very much.